After the way the game played out, are you kind of happy with the point?
Probably frustrated is how I'm feeling right now. I think in terms of a little bit on us. I think in terms of the difference in the two halves. I think that didn't cause us huge problems first half. In terms of how we used the ball and the control we had, the urgency, the tempo wasn't quite there first half. And then second half, we turned up second half, which is what we've spoken about just now. And I'll probably be careful what I say, but it's just some diabolical refereeing again, which it just makes the game so difficult in terms of when you're scratching head and not understanding decisions that are made, whether it be the time added on or the one that's a blatant red card. It's the 8th penalty we've had given against us now as well. So there's just so many bits where you just turn up week in, week out, and the level of officiating so incompetent is scary.
Josh McEachran's challenge, what was your view on that?
Hey, the video, it looks like he clips him, but it's probably a little bit soft. I think it's one where Louis doesn't go down, but he gets clipped as well. So it's not just that penalty. I think that there's so many things in the game. I said to the fourth official, the referee's going to wait until the 90th minute to book the goalkeeper, irrespective of the fact he started time wasting in the 30th. So it's just bits like that they talk in the summer about stamping it out the game, but it's still there. You see it week in, week out. So yeah, just scratching my head probably. I'll shoulder the responsibility for the team, but when you get so many aspects and so many decisions that are out of your control, it's really frustrating.
Obviously, the non-red card, the yellow card, swiftly followed by another challenge, and although he didn't get sent off, it did seem to. The crowd got up, they felt aggrieved, and there seemed to be a kind of a push from that. So although he wasn't sent off, it did seem to help in some way. Yeah,
I thought there was decent energy from the fans today. Despite the position we're in, I thought they did a good job of getting behind the lads. I don't know how it's not a red card. I just watched it back about 5 times, and if it's not dangerous and reckless volleying someone when they're running away from you, I don't really know what is, to be honest. So he gets the yellow for that, and then the foul straight off. That's another yellow. So yeah, I'm scratching my head. I have no idea.
What would you put down to the kind of I'd say lacklustre is probably a bit strong, but first half, and then you came back. You probably needed that a bit earlier, would you say?
Yeah, it was a little bit like it last week. I thought we did a good job first half at Portsmouth of the last 20. And we did it at Barnsley as well, of kind of wrestling momentum back with us. And although that was probably a bit more even first half in terms of I didn't think there was a huge number of clear-cut chances. I thought we still got into some good areas and made some poor decisions. But the difference for me more so was the behaviours second half, the urgency, the intent, the aggressiveness, with and without the ball to play quick, to pass it forward, to run forward, to try and get it in the box. When you look at it, it's gone in so many good areas, but unfortunately the quality wasn't there on the final bit.
Is it too simplistic for them to start like that, as it were?
That's the challenge we just spoke around. Just challenge the lads. What we're waiting for. Let's turn up and start the game like that, and we'll be in a much better position. So the lads need to really step up and believe it. There's a group of staff, we believe in them, but I think that's the one. They've shown last week, they've shown today that the control's there, the quality in terms of getting into dangerous areas is there, and we have to start games like that and believe that we can start games like that. And when we do, we're a strong side.
I think we asked you in the week if it was must win. It was certainly, you would imagine, must not lose. And going a goal down and coming back gives an air of the fans go home a little happier than maybe if it had been the other way around.
Yeah, and the response was good. Of course, look, I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated that we didn't win the game, but I think in terms of the challenge the lads, Barnsley was one where we probably didn't respond like that. Whereas today, I thought we showed the response, we showed some fight, we showed some urgency and some intent, and they're the behaviours we're going to need. They're the bits that we're going to hopefully allow us to perform like we did second half and turn games where we control it for large periods into wins.
Thank you.
Liam, asked you about Bradley Johnson. It looked like he wanted that goal and got the goal. He made quite an impact, didn't he?
Yeah, he was actually outside the box. If you look at the corner, he was actually on it. Somebody screaming at him to get in the box, and his physicality, his aggression, his aerially is very strong, very good. So it was a much needed goal.
And just how you're not in a great position now. I think it's 5 points from safety, but does that play on your mind now? Does it? Do you look at that, or do you not try not to look at the table?
Look, I know where we are, but at the same point, I don't concentrate or give any energy to it. I think everything has to go into, making sure that we turn up next week against Fleetwood and start on the front foot. Start with, the behaviours that I spoke around, the energy, the intensity, the aggressiveness. We have to start games like that. So that's where my energy is putting on the best training week for the players, giving them all the information and the work they need to do to be prepared, as best possible, to go and deliver next week.
First time I've seen you this season today. Looked like the confidence wasn't there from last season. I think that's probably fair to say. But is there any more to it than that? Do you think that you've probably been asked this question a lot? But is there more to it than confidence? And obviously lost a few players in the summer, but there's there doesn't seem something there that there was last season.
Yeah, I've spoken a lot around it, and I don't want to keep banging on about it. We had 14 out, 14 in the summer, so it's a different team to what you saw last year. So it's taken longer than what we wanted and what we'd hoped. And you can see, elements of what we saw. You're talking about a bit last week, and then even second half today, where the style, the way we want to play, the areas we get into, is very similar. It's in quality on the final bit, and that's the challenge we all have to improve and get better at, and turn that domination second half rather than keeping the game close by not taking your chances and not being clinical. We have to make sure that we change that so that for all the good play, for all the areas that we get onto, so look at it, we had 21 crosses today, only 5 where we got first contact. So got into so many good areas, but the final bit has to be better.
Are you confident in the next couple of months or so things might turn around and those kind of crosses go to players and find the net, etc.? Is there a turning point coming, do you think?
There has been performance-wise. I think that's the big bit for me. I think when we looked at it earlier in some of the games, Bristol Rovers is one that we talk a lot around in terms of we were nowhere near ready to go and perform like we did today. So I've seen the progress in the team in terms of the way we want to play, the understanding, the way we're now controlling and dominating games, the way we're earlier in the year we weren't getting into areas where we could get in the box, and we're now last 2 games we're into some terrific danger areas where we can create, we can take create chances, and it's now about the belief, the confidence, the sort of the mindset of being ruthless to make sure that we finish teams off when we have the domination like we did.
Saw some big hits out there, particularly in the first half. How's Darrow doing?
Yeah, got to speak to medical staff. It's just his ankle. I think he's just rolled that. So yeah, we'll have to have a look at it.
And Danny Harvey as well. Looked like he took one early on.
Yeah, it was a sore one for Dan, but I think he showed what he's about. He's a warrior. He's a battler. He's all in terms of his behaviours, and I thought he provided some good moments today.
And we said it plenty of times before. Conceding that first goal just seems to be such a hammer blow for you.
Yeah. No, it's obviously not ideal, and it's one of those. It's not even so much the goal; it's more us in terms of how we control the game and the momentum we have. I don't think they caused us too many problems, to be honest. Although at times it was in the balance a little bit in terms of how we used the ball and what we did with it. They didn't really cause us any problems. Maybe off a long throw or a corner, but that for me is the biggest bit in terms of everything's on us now. It's all about us, how we respond, how we start games, how we need to be on the front foot and take initiative and believe in what we're doing.
Were you surprised by how Burton sat off you in the second half and just seemingly were quite happy to defend a 1-goal lead?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think we saw it last week, you saw it today. I think the couple of tweaks at half time, we actually do a good job of then forcing them back and not allowing them out. And I think that was probably the difference in the 2 halves. There was a couple of moments where I thought we got into really good areas first half. But it just wasn't the consistency in terms of how we wanted to do it. So we spoke about a couple of bits at half time, and I think the lads did a really good job of keeping them pinned back in rather than it being a conscious one of them deliberately trying to sit off. It was frustrating.
Is there also an update on Josh McKeck? It looked like he had a bit of a shoulder damage at some point in the first half.
Yeah, he finished. He obviously came off. It wasn't because of that, but I think his shoulder popped out and back in is what the guys are saying. So we'll just have to reassess, see where he's at.
I think so far this season you guys have got more wins in the Papa John's Trophy than the league games here. How significant is it going to be to correct this sort of statistic?
Yeah, obviously important to turn up and win at home and pick up points.